This is Nina Fletcher, radio host, singer, songwriter, producer, and your host for Plant Dominant Dollars. I have got something very special for you. You may have seen her on Urban Expressions. You may have seen her on her latest effort, Single on a Saturday Night. And as far as I understand, she has yet another effort that I'm very excited for her to introduce. We have Shelly Shell Williams.
Hi everybody, I'm so happy to be here.
And we are happy to have you. Those of you who know, my first guest was my daughter. So this is really special to really have you as my first guest outside of the family.
Oh,
so much. Really happy to have you.
Thank you.
That'd be awesome. So today we have a couple of things on the menu. Of course, all Plant Dominant, and you know, those of you who watch understand what Plant Dominant is, but just for further explanation, Plant Dominant means that basically you're not totally ready to give up meat. You're vegan one dish at a time, one day at a time, every other day, and you want to make sure that the fruits and vegetables that you put on your plate are dominant, number one, in nutrients, and also it saves you money. Okay. So that's the whole, it's more of a financial equation. Did you guys know that? I just wanted to catch Shelly Shell up, so let's get it poppin'. All right, we are going to be doing vegan crab cakes today. And we are also going to be doing the wilted kale. Now wait a minute. You say, Nina, you did kale. No, I did stir-fried kale. This is different. We are just doing wilted kale. It's very easy. You have no excuse not to enjoy a good green vegetable, okay? Wilted kale, okay? We are also going to be doing an apple pie, which is very, very easy. So our menu today is actually the vegan crab cakes, the mac and cheese, yes, the vegan mac and cheese in the other video, apple pie, and wilted kale. All right, so join us. Ready to get cracking?
My appetite, so I'm definitely ready to eat. So it sounds delicious.
Let's do it. So what we're going to start with, we're going to start over by the apples because I'm going to cut, peel, core, and we can sort of talk while we're doing that.
Okay.
So if you, this is a peeler.
Okay.
Just let it rip. This is one of those things. So look.
That's it.
Look, just take it right on around the apple and keep it moving. Give me a good, maybe what? 6, maybe 7 of them, right?
I can do it. I'm
Got
ready.
it. Good.
Yeah. I got it. Take the apple. And I'm gonna peel it.
Yep, you're gonna rip it right on down. While you're doing that, can you tell me a little bit about Single on a Saturday Night? Because I'm quite sure that quite a few people, some singles groups, are watching the Plant Dominant Dollars show. So
They are. Well, Single on a Saturday Night is a talk show about relationships and love and all that good stuff. We've been on for 5 years. I have a cast of 7 or 8, and JT is recently one of the cast members, and we talk about this stuff. But I've been single for a lot of years. I mean, really, I think I've been single all my life because I have never been married. And I think it's because I can't cook. I do. I think it's because I can't cook. You think this really might actually get me a man here, even though I really don't know what I'm doing.
and see, this is where I start something. I think it's because of the dude. Okay, let's just put it out there.
No, I really, no, I've gotten to learn myself a little more, and yeah, but this is, I am really awkward in the kitchen. Yeah, you see?
I think you're doing really, really awesome, and I think you could just keep right on going with that. I think you're gonna be just fine.
Sure. I appreciate your confidence in me, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep it real though. The kitchen is new for me. This one is a little soft, I think.
Oh, that's, you know what? Leave that out. fine. Girl, yes, I will eat that myself on my spare time. That's my chocolate.
Okay.
And some walnuts.
Alright. Are we recording?
Pretty darn easy. I'm gonna just let you know, right? Because see, I don't want it to be too congested up there. That's not trash. We talk about that.
I know you said like you kept the stem from the kale.
That's apple cider. I'll boil that down with some other fruits. I'm gonna have juice and absolutely. Listen, it's not about not letting anything go to waste. It's about the fact that I want to know what's in my food. I want to know who's cooking it. I want to see what's going into it. You know when I can really do that? Aside from when I'm going out and enjoy myself, right?
So how do you go out? I mean, if you go out on, when you go out on dates, where do you go? What do you eat?
First of all, when I go out on dates, there are plenty of great vegan restaurants to go to and vegetarian restaurants to go to, and I mean throughout the tri-state area. But from the feedback that I get, there's no spot that's quite as good as mine. So a lot of times what I'll end up doing is, depending on how well I get to know the person, I will say, hey, look, take me to Produce Junction, take me to Whole Foods, let me cook us something.
You what?
And we will sit there
and you cook up the food?
And I will tell you why. Because I get a chance to look at him and he gets to appreciate the hands who made it and understand exactly what he's looking at and what it took to come to him, right? And at the same time, we're having a conversation. You don't always need to be served, right? To understand the person or have a conversation. Oh, wait a minute, no. How about I cook up some kale right in front of you? How about we have a conversation about what I'm doing and where I'm going?
I'm in utter shock. I'm sorry. That sounds so foreign to me to have to do all the cooking.
Candlelit dinner.
But you're doing all the work.
And he will be soon. Right? I'm saying, at least like when I'm dating, right? And he's seeing me and I'm doing the work and I'm looking good while doing it, right?
Absolutely looking fabulous while doing it.
Then you're not come to the table lazy.
But you gotta go,
right?
You gotta clean up the stuff, you gotta prepare the stuff, and you're saying, so, I mean, there has to be an option to go on a date somewhere.
Well,
and not everybody's a vegan, so.
Okay.
What would you do? How would you compromise that? I mean, I'm going out. I'm sorry. I would love to say I would cook every meal, but I won't.
Very dangerous because we give away all the secrets. My first date is generally coffee. I don't want you spending money on me because I want to see where your mind's at. I'm one of those people. I've been self-sufficient for a very long time. Okay, and it's not to say that you don't need it. I need it. That's not me. That's not me. My whole thing is whatever you can do for yourself, do. And if you do it well, share it with others. Right? So it doesn't bother me if I say, my first date, we're going to coffee so I can see where your mind is at. The second date, maybe I'll get to know you a little bit more. We'll go to a vegan restaurant in Philly, which I don't necessarily plug in because I don't have permission to do so. But they are some very great.
There are some good vegan, but why does it have to be all vegan? So what if you're vegan, they're not? So you always have to go to a vegan restaurant.
You can flex. You can flex as a vegetarian. That's why I say like plant dominant. Mm-hmm. So let's just say I have a favorite restaurant in Old City, right? Mm-hmm. They have a brilliant vegetarian menu. So if I'm dating a brother and he's not a vegan or vegetarian and he just happens to want the shortbreads, right? They have a brilliant vegetarian menu. And since I pretty much know them, I know that I can do many substitutions as I need them. So,
So you have places in mind, free places. So if somebody says, where do you want to go? You have free places that you can
And let me get over here real quick. What we're gonna do is I want to get this to get the simmer because we're gonna get to talking. What's very odd to use in say an apple pie is olive oil. I use it because it has some sort of a salt content. It gives it a little bit of savoriness. I'm gonna put in a little bit of cinnamon, right? And the apples are already naturally sweet. So that's about 2 or 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. You can use like agave or whatever, however it works for you. And what I generally do is let this go on medium, and I'm gonna come back to you. On occasion, just a touch of salt, because salt actually brings out the sweet in some things. Let me see what else I got out here. You know, I have been known to put some cracked black pepper in my apple pies, but I will go with that right now. That's pretty much all. And I'm a very odd measure. That's about a tablespoon of water. Plop, boom, let it rip. Now, previously, what I made is a crust. Now, you try to stay away from flour. Sometimes, most often, I'll use like spelt flour. But this particular crust is made out of walnuts, and it's also medjool dates, and it's a little bit of olive oil. And in one of the other videos, I talked about reconstituting medjool dates. That means to soak them in water for a couple hours so they get plump and they're easy to work with. So the crust is simply like some walnuts, medjool dates, olive oil, and maybe just a little bit of salt in there. Okay? And you stick that in the refrigerator and let it sort of like come together. So once our apples are done, and I'm gonna just let them do that happy thing over there. When I start hearing some action, I'll pour it in the pan and then we'll move on to the next dish. Okay. So let me just answer. You were asking, so what happened with the brother? Okay. So here's what happened. So I guess artfully forgot to mention that I'm a vegan or vegetarian. So he took me to a steakhouse. Okay. So I said, oh, well, hey, it was swank. It was nice, you know? So I wasn't saying no. So I went. We had a great time. And to be honest, that day, I did flex back to a little bit of dairy. They had a wonderful mac and cheese that was absolutely wonderful. They had this cornbread. It's almost as good as mine. We'll do it on the show. And they did it in a cast iron skillet. And the chef was more than happy to cook up like a big plate of wonderful steamed and seasoned vegetables for me. It was very adaptable. It was very adaptable. So it was real cool.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna go for the steak, but I get it. I do.
No!
I get it. So you can do it.
See, you know what the plant dominant way of thinking about that is? Get it! I'm not stopping me.
Get it, as long as you have some plants in
Get
there.
you some plants on the side. Make it, you know, the dominant part of the meal. I'm not telling you. There's certain things that you have to have freedom with. You know what I mean?
I understand.
All right. So we are now going to get cracking with the hickory cakes because that's actually
The what?
hickory cakes.
Hickory.
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 So the hickory is actually this right here. It's basically an island root. It's considered a nightshade. It's somewhere around like a radish or a potato or something like that, right? So what you do is you take the hard exterior off, right? And you basically end up with this, okay? And hickory root cakes are also affectionately known as crab cakes, but of course there's no crab, right? So vegan crab cakes is pretty much what it is, right?
So why call it crab if it's hickory?
Because I'm dealing with people who are either transitioning, right? Or, you know, want to stay eating meat, right? So if I just say jicama root, like you asked, nobody knows what that is. But if you understand what the objective is in my creating the recipe, then you sort of understand where I'm going and you're more willing to try it. So I sort of relate it to something that you already know what it is.
So it has a crab-like consistency or a crab-like taste and texture.
You will see, watch. So, this is Shelly's second task.
What to do again?
Alright, so I dropped the little hickory root in there, right? Plop it in. You see it right here. Okay. So that's going to be your job for a second.
Okay.
And while you're doing that,
It's still rolling. Do I still?
yeah, you can keep putting hiccup. What you want to do is keep your finger out of there. And you just keep the plunger. Feed it in. Yep. You got it. You are good. And I'm gonna you know, go ahead, give it a good hit. Look, watch that. Hit it. Boom. Go ahead. In fact, you can put like 2 and 3 up in there at the same time. There, watch. Go ahead. Stuff them in. Here, put these 2 in there too. There you go. And hit it. There you go.
How decent.
There it is. Oh, here you go. That's easy fix. Watch this. Bloop. You good. Shelly is doing freaking awesome. Yep, keep going. Oop. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so let me give you like, here, you know what? Watch me across this one. And we are done. You can hit the pulse button.
You want to do this?
No. Well, you can. Go ahead. There it is. And hit the pulse. And that part is done. Right.
So if you don't have anything that's cool stuff at home, you need to get it, huh?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. It was not always that I had either like a Vitamixer or a food processor. And I'm going to tell you the honest to God truth. I did it Granny's way.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so you do that shredder thing. And the one cool thing about jicama roots, and I'm going to move it back here, is that this only cost me like $1.50, right? And if I were to cook the whole thing, I'd probably feed about 15 to 20 people, right? Okay? And what I took here wasn't even the whole jicama root. It was probably about maybe that much, maybe half of it, right? So they're very, very economical way of addressing, like if you have family or if you're just single and you're not trying to spend that kind of money, right? So there you go.
So is this the same as the NutriBullet? Would that act the same way?
No, NutriBullet's a little bit different, like
Because it
that's
makes
for like
it soupier.
smoothies.
Yeah.
So what you want is like a shredder.
Okay.
So it would be like either the manual, which I'm gonna tell you some work, give you some of that going on with biceps and everything, but yeah. So I
think this is a little cooler. Maybe, you know, one day. Once I perfect all of this and I actually try it, maybe I'll be gonna do this.
So here goes some more fun part, right? So if you could hand me that bowl right there, this is what's gonna go inside of the jicama root. And this is just some red pepper. I like the smaller ones. They tend to be a little, I'm gonna put this down for a second. They tend to be a little bit sweeter and hot at the same time. So it's the smaller peppers. And I'll put like maybe 2 of them in. Very easy. And you know what? We were talking about like cooking while dating. Okay, generally, he'll be sitting right there, right? And you know, I'll just be talking like, hey, so look, you don't want to do that. So, how do you feel about a woman who cooks? How you feel about?
I generally want a woman to cook because I'm a man.
Well,
Women should be cooking, you know, because I'm a man. You know?
So how do you feel about a woman who cooks but still wants to go out and serve the places? That's a trick question because, gee, you won't turn around and be like, if you're not, you'll be like, oh, well, maybe you can have it either way. And I'm like, oh, okay, so flexibility come on, right? So,
But you just happen to have a great setup for something like that. Not everybody has an awesome counter with a stool over there. This makes for a good date night.
and I'm gonna tell you the honest to God truth. In my old apartment, could you give me that? I'm sorry, garlic. Okay, in my old apartment, there were times as plant dominant dollars came, you know, it started being formulated at a point where, I'll tell you right now, I just didn't have it. It wasn't like I had that kind of a budget. So my kitchen back then, I had the regular old stove. You walk in the kitchen and it faced the wall, right? I put a stool out there for a second, right back there. I'm cooking, talking. Absolutely. You can do this. You know, cooking has always been a very, very social experience. And it's always been where people have gotten to know each other over cooking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's an easy way to sort of like get rid of awkward spaces in conversation and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I've never experienced it, but you know, maybe one day I'm going to try it. But I can say it hasn't been my experience.
Tomato. And let me just say, these are all like pre-done, pre-washed, whatever that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, for me, like if a man can't appreciate you and the reason you do it, then that wasn't the one.
Well, I mean, I've never been there, so I mean, I wouldn't know whether they appreciate it because I wasn't the one cooking. I'm learning. Hey, I'm learning from you.
And you know what? It's all good. It is wonderful. I'm glad to have you here. Good. I have the corn.
Corn.
Yes. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the corn. The reason I'm using the corn, you are a little bit allergic to onions, correct?
Yes, I am a lot of bit allergic to onions.
And the funny part was when you told me, I almost had partially screamed, and then I fainted. But then, because everything I use has an onion in it, because it just has like a base to it. But then I said, you know what? There's other things that you can do. So this is going to be a challenge. So what I'm omitting in here, in the crab cake, is the onion. And I'm using corn instead, because in the crab cake, the onion is actually facilitating a sweet taste, right? So we're going to try to duplicate that with the corn. Now you notice, I mean, I'm using fresh corn. These were like 8 ears of corn for like $1.50, right? Okay, so it's like whatever you can get cheap. I mean, frozen corn is more expensive than that. I won't call a name, but $1.79, $2 for some frozen. Go ahead and get the fresh, right? So here's what I do my corn. It can get a little messy, but it is what it is. I'm a home cook. And I'm trying to encourage others, even if you don't cook, or if you're afraid to cook, or if you haven't cooked, it's time to get in your kitchen so that you know what is going in your food, because the benefits of it are outstanding. Now from this point, if you just wanted some steamed corn, you could do that, right? So here, I'm gonna put that in there because I'm actually gonna use that. All right, so we have corn.
Smells good.
And we're gonna move to our, we're gonna move to our herbs, but I'm gonna give this a quick stir if you don't mind. This is our pie. And we're almost there with the pie. Would
How
you
long
like
does
to
it
taste?
have to go?
You know what? I'll take the honest to God truth.
Well, wait till the end. How long are we going to do it?
Oh, honey, I'm gonna taste now.
You taste it? Isn't it hot?
Good. Oh, I really taste it as it goes. It's still just a little bit So I'm gonna let it rip a little bit longer.
How long does it typically take?
For apples, it depends on how many people you're serving, to be honest with you. So if I'm making a smaller pie, apples are only gonna take a few minutes. If I slice them thinner, if I slice them thicker, because that's the way I like them, maybe about 20 minutes, if that, because I'm also gonna put it in the oven. All right, so let's hit herbs.
Herbs. What herb is that? Sage.
Now, what's special about sage? Did you want to taste it by itself? All right. Sage is one of the herbs that's used in sausage.
Oh, sage sausage. I know what you're talking about. But
Sausage. Right?
You ate that by itself?
Green is good.
Green is good.
Right. So, like I said, these are sage leaves. This is thyme. Now, a lot of Jamaican cooking, like jerk, chicken, and all that other good stuff, they use thyme. And as you saw in one of my other videos, I just tear it right on down the stem, tear it right on down the stem, tear it right on down the stem, right? Make sure you get on there. And then make sure you save the stems because there's a lot of flavor in the stems. Now with the sage, cut up a little bit. Now, if you miss meat and the taste of meat that much, that is a very easy way of getting the taste of meat in your vegetarian stuff. Sage, because that's one of the mixes that they use in meat, okay, or in sausage. These are the cucumber roots. So after you cut up, these go right in underneath. Okay, with the mix. And there's one more ingredient that I add, but I always add it like at the end because I don't like it too green tasting. It's celery, so I'll do that at the end. But so now that we have everything in our bowl, right? And it's not, listen, I laugh, it's not that bad. Because this would be the equivalent of, say, opening a pack of hamburger at home. So it's the same like if you're a home cook or, so what I do is I toss everything together. And here's where your seasonings come in. Now for this, I will use a little bit of salt. Definitely some pepper. Now, on occasion, some Lowry seasoning salt. I mean, Lowry's, you can basically put your own seasonings in there, right? This is paprika. I prefer a little bit of curry powder. There is a difference between smoked paprika and paprika, so I will put a little bit of that in. Now, everybody basically has a spice rack at home, and this is some of the stuff that you might, that's there, but you might not use it kind of situation. So just look and see how many of them we have. Now this is cumin. I always say, season it to your taste. Season it to where it makes you happy. Because, you know, it's your taste buds. I like my tastes a little bit more complex. And I prefer like fresh herbs. Like fresh herbs, they gonna cost you like maybe $1, but you paying what? How much for a product name? Mm-hmm. But how much are you paying for the? You understand?
The name brands, yeah.
It's ridiculous, you know. You know, put a little elbow grease in, save yourself some money, and reap the benefits of fresh whole foods. I mean, really. So, all right, that's all fixed up. Here's what I do. Just a little bit. This is plant milk. Nut milk.
Okay.
There's a reason I do this. This is a plant dominant ingredient because almonds will stay in your cabinet. How long?
I don't know.
Forever.
Forever? Well,
How long does milk stay in your refrigerator for? before it starts turning into cottage cheese?
Oh, we know.
Hello,
Yeah.
right? So if I want milk, it's sitting in the closet, right? So what you do is you go ahead and take your nut milk, moisten it up a little bit, and I prefer spelt flour. Now, I do not measure it out, charge it to my head, not my heart. What you're doing is you're making sure that the cakes are going to This is organic white. And I like organic white because it will soak up moisture a little bit better. Moisture is good in the mixture, but not wet. It's two different things.
I'm actually excited to taste it. I'm hungry.
I want you to taste it. We are just that close to there. If you wanted to continue stirring the ingredients, that would be awesome.
Look at me, stirring. See, I can cook. I can. See how, you know how they do affirmations? I can cook. I will be done. I will eat plant-based food and dominant and all that. I will. I can. I shall.
And right behind Shelly, all I'm doing is putting in just a touch of honey into our pie and a squeeze of key lime. Key lime. Key limes are a smaller version or an island version of regular limes. I just like them because they have a little bit more of your taste. And they're really, 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 really good.
It smells really good.
I'm actually gonna taste. Oh, the apples are ready.
See, I don't have that taste in between type of thing.
All right.
I'll have to wait till the end. How long do you stir it?
You're fine. So now what I'm going to have you do, yes, you're almost there. Quick demonstration. Oh, good. Just wet enough. These are panko breadcrumbs. And now you have seasoned panko breadcrumbs, right? Mix. And what you're going to do, just like you're making peanut butter, right? Nice little patty. Okay, and make about 6 of them because we're going to have 2 each. And while you're doing that, I'm going to heat up the pan. You're doing great, Shelly. And while Shelly's doing that, I am simply pouring the apples into the pie shell we discussed earlier. And I'm going to pull out the mac and cheese that's been in there. You know?
Which way?
This way. Thank you. I just have to pull out the mac. Awesome. And I'm going to put it in the pot. And we are just at the Okay, so now, Shelly, awesome job. Very, very easy. And that's okay. It's on a grate, so like some might fall. But pack it nicely and tight, and what you're gonna do is put it in the freezer just for a couple seconds so that it adheres together.
So you leave that in there for how long?
10 and 20 seconds.
10, 20 seconds, and then you.
Yeah, I just want them to adhere. I'm only leaving it in there until my oil heats up a little bit.
And what kind of oil did you put in there?
You know what? That's a very good question because you'll hear different feedback from everybody. I always say, whatever you got. But I used olive oil. There are days where I use coconut oil. There are also days where I use corn oil because it depends on. God. That's the whole point of Plant Dominant Dollars. We're not sitting here and saying, oh, you have to do this, or oh, you have to do that. You should never cook with this. No, we don't go there. We look at what you have. Shelly, move it back. We look at what you have in your cupboard. We work with that, and we see how we can make it more plant-based. Now, as you can see, I just kept that in the freezer just long enough for the oil to heat up a little bit. I'm gonna turn on my exhaust fan. The pan is fairly hot. I prefer ceramic pans because they tend to cook somewhat even. And I can sometimes use a little bit less oil.
Yeah, but if you don't have that, because I don't have any of this nice stuff, the cutting boards, the pans, I'm gonna have to start from scratch. Yeah.
I can tell you funny stories about cutting boards, and you'll get it if you look at the beginning shows. But I mean, to be honest with you,
Oh, I did see the one. I did see it without the cutting board. I did.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't. I'm a home cook. I had to figure this stuff out. You know, while you're trying to get like, you know, $23 cuts of macaroni and all that, I had, you know, 2 shades of spit taste. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, I didn't have all. I had to build my kitchen up. It came from the money I saved on food. And to be honest with you, getting back to the financial part of it, I built my stock portfolio based upon the money that I saved from cooking this way. And all I'm doing is wilted kale right now. It's a little bit of garlic in and a little bit of olive oil. Let me grab some kale. And it's really, really an economical way to stay fit and make your pockets better. Because I'm gonna tell you something, at one point, like I said, I didn't have it. I just didn't. It just wasn't there like that. So, and we have talked about how to rip kale. And down the spine.
I did watch that.
Down the spine, rip. Left. Down the spine. Rip.
Everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel bad. I feel like I put you to work.
No, I
Yeah, in fact,
want to learn how to do it.
if you wanted to do, we could do about two or three more, and just put it right where I have the kale. And pretty soon I'm gonna start plating them up because we are pretty much done. And maybe 1 to 2 minutes on either side. Yeah, when I was, go right ahead, yep. Toss it down. Yeah, a while back in my other apartment when I was developing the recipes, I honestly did not have the space that I had, the equipment that I had.
Equipment, the utensils,
And to this day, when I figured out I was spending too much money going to, the name brand grocery stores or like, eating out and all that other good stuff, when I heard that, started going to like farmers markets and things like that and learning how to combine flavors and actually learning a more plant-dominant way of thinking, not only did I save money and grow money, but my thinking changed, and what I lost also that's the, you know, the big thing about it. I want people to understand that you could be, you know, really, 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 really wasting valuable resources if you're not manning in your kitchen.
So why is this called wilted kale?
We're about to find out in about 2 seconds. I take the kale, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of water, salt, pepper. You hear that little sizzle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that brings humidity all the way through. Once you hear that, and I'm not a big salt fan, but just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And it's wilted kale. Let me rinse this off. Wilted kale. It's wilted kale because you're wilting it with the water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now the seasoned kale is something that I did before. I put all kinds of seasonings and just everything in it. That's not what we're doing here. And what we're doing is we're only going to keep it in a pan probably for about a minute or so. The one thing about our culture is that we tend to cook our greens all day, and we don't have to. You can do a wilted kale, and it'll come out just nice and flavorful. Shelly. Let's see. No, not this one. This one. You know what? I won't push you to work. I was going to ask if you would mind cutting this, but I can do it.
Let me try it.
You want to? I got a trooper here today. Rah rah. Okay, so here's good. Just cut it in slivers, just to give it a little color. Pretty much by the time you're finished doing that, I'll throw it in for about another minute, and it'll be ready.
Is that small enough?
That is entirely perfect. And what I would do is I would just throw them right on in the pan. Perfect. And that'll give a little spice. We're going to let that go and let that go. And next is plating. Here we have wilted greens. Notice they're still green. They're not gray brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we always
It's a pretty
do.
color.
Thank you. And as I explained in a previous video, a good bushel, a huge bag of kale is going to cost you like maybe $1.75, and it's like 3 or 4 huge bushels about that big. Okay? We have our root cake, which, if you use the whole thing, is probably going to be about 15 people from one root, right? And I'm paid $1.75 for it. And as in a previous video, we have macaroni and cheese, and of course,
Well, you know somebody's going to ask you, what was the macaroni and cheese made out of?
let me tell you. Okay, so I have a separate video on the macaroni and cheese, right? And so I'm using a proprietary mix of seasonings, which was altered because I used onion in the original one, so I sort of took that out and made that special for you.
Yay!
And otherwise, people use cashews, but I have a lot of interesting twists to it. You'll see it.
So we'll watch the other video. But there
Exactly.
you go. So refer back to the other video for the macaroni and cheese. I'm just excited to eat it. I can't wait.
Oh, it is served. I'm trying to figure out, and I think I see, now, you guys know what I normally do is I'll put the pie on the same plate with the dinner because it's all plant-based. You don't have to worry about what's dinner and what's dessert. So if it was just me, I'd slap the pie right on the same plate and keep right on going. But since it's not, we're going to try to do this the right way. Let me pull this down. I think this is getting
That looks so good. So most people eat pie with ice cream. Is there a substitute for the ice cream?
Absolutely. Actually, we just discovered the other day ice cream made out of cashews, right? And can I have that black one, please?
Sure.
Yes, thank you. Ice cream made out of cashews, which was awesome. Generally, I'll make my whipped cream and my ice cream out of coconut cream. So, Shelly, we are all done.
Yay.
We have your jicama root cakes or crab cakes. We have the macaroni and cheese, which is made from the cashews. There's no dairy going on in there. And also we have the wilted kale with the red peppers. And earlier we showed you the apple pie. So,
A complete meal.
we are ready to eat.
I'm ready to eat.
So this is, like I said, plant-based eating. Minus a lot of the stuff that gives you issues. So it's back in. And so there you have it, plant dominant family. And while I'm sitting here stuffing my face, we go pan into Shelly. What you think, Shelly?
Delicious. This is absolutely delicious. Really.
I'm telling you, plant-based does not have to be boring. It can be nutritious. It can be economical. And I gotta get some better manners here to talk with my mouth full. And on that note, I want you to please, please, please make sure you check out Shelly Shell Williams, Single on a Saturday Night, Urban Expressions, and look for her next venture, which is completely awesome. I'm very excited about it. Move to Lose Challenge. Okay? Until then, remember, eat well, stay healthy, stay wealthy. See you next time.
You're happy food day.
Good.
It's the genius.